Halloween episode time. What's the worst case scenario for 2023? Let's talk some TSM. Hello everyone, and that's right, it is our Halloween episode, and I wanted to do something a little spooky scary. I hope that the intro wasn't too scary for you guys. I realized that this red mic gave off such a fun glow, so I decided I was going to do this very early in the morning to make sure that it would still be dark out and still give a little bit of light so you guys can see everything, but mostly, want to keep things a little bit in the dark. And my question of the day is how we're going to do, well, everything for today, and that is we're going to look at what is the worst case scenario for you in 2023 with our TSM LCS team. Okay, let me know that in the comment section below. I'm going to go through that today in this video because it is, it's going to be interesting potentially. So let's walk through this. Oh, real quick, also I want to say I am doing my best to not leak or put anything out there in these videos as of right now, at least, that are actually being talked about necessarily. So anything I say here and whatnot, just understand that it's not like this is probably going to happen. I'm just doing what I think is, well, I'll explain it here in the rules, semi-realistic, okay? And what potentially could happen, but hopefully won't, okay? So quick rules for this, I guess, thought experiment is what we're going to call it. For the worst case scenarios, they have to still be semi-realistic, okay? Rule changes can be discussed, and coaches and other staff are included, okay? I'm going to give you guys 4 things that could go wrong this this year, that would put us in another hole, another 2022 repeat, let's just say. The first one is one that I know you guys are going to be mad at me about, but I don't really care. Most of the 2016 team starting in 2023. Guys, 7 years later, these players are not only a lot older, but they are not nearly as good, right? And that includes beloved players such as Doublelift, Hanser, Biofrost, and Bjergsen, and Sven Skaren even, who is available, right? And I'll be honest with you, if we ended up having to start even 2 of those players on one team, I would think that they're just trying to recapture the glory days. They're not actually trying to be good. I don't know if they could still be good, but would they be great? Would they be set up for success for now and for the future? And that's my big thing. I talked about last video. I'm going to talk about it a lot during this offseason. A lot of my mindset is going to be, how can we be good for now and for the future, right? Because it's clear to me that the LCS needs TSM to be good. And I also believe that we all obviously want TSM to be good as well. So if all these older players, all these amazing for TSM players at one point in their career were to start, I would be very worried for our season. And while I would enjoy the initial couple games because I could write off them losing as, oh, they're just taking time to get together, right? They need time, I'm sure that they would all be exposed very quickly. And while they would probably do well enough to make playoffs and maybe make even a decent run, I don't see most of this team coming together and winning a 2023 LCS championship at any point, making it to MSI, or probably even making it to Worlds long term for this season, let alone our 2024 and beyond future. So that's the first one. Second one here. Import an unknown Chinese mid laner again. Listen, I was trying my best to convince myself and all of you that Kaiduo had a bright future, and I still think that this guy has a chance to be solid, right? And he will hopefully show that in China on a team and prove us all wrong and make us eat our words. And maybe it was just that there was a cultural difference and he was just struggling to adapt to, playing with a bunch of players that he didn't really know the language and all these other things, right? And in reality, I actually don't think he was as bad as everybody thought. I mean, in those first couple games, when they were relying on him to get kills and stuff, get kills and be the carry, he actually did a pretty good job. I actually thought he was pretty solid. He wasn't great, but like there were moments where I was like, okay, like his Mac movements are good. The way that he is able to read the necessary situations for the macro was doing fine. His 1v1 skills were basically just to not fall too far behind in lane, which was fine as well. But yeah, I don't want to see that necessarily again. If they're going to draw from somebody from somewhere else, I would love a young European mid, an A mid, or a Korean mid, preferably, if they're going to do the younger route. And that they also believe in these players enough to stick with them past, 4 games or whatever it was that he ended up playing in the LCS, because that's also a huge waste. If you're not going to actually believe in a player well enough to keep them around for more than 4 games, then what are we actually doing here? Oh boy, this one. Import rule gets changed. I really hope this doesn't happen. I don't believe that it will. I think we would have already heard the announcement, or it would be coming very quickly after this week, as in like right after Worlds ends, I would assume. So yeah, listen, I mean, here's the deal. Import rule getting changed would drastically affect my fandom, and I'm sure a lot of other people's. Not because I'm actually, again, against any players from any other regions. Not at all. I love a lot of those players. I've talked with a lot of them. I've interviewed them. They're awesome, okay? But I am a big believer that for us to be successful long term, we can't just be importing a bunch of players from abroad. I believe that we need players from North America, and that if the scene is going to grow, if the LCS is going to grow, that we need people watching, and people are going to, especially younger individuals, are more likely to connect with players from their home regions. I mean, it's just a natural instinct. It's not something that is, I don't think, inherently I don't think it's necessarily intentional. I think it's just kind of a part of our fabric. There's a reason why people root for their region more often than not. You go to any league player and you ask them, hey, what's your favorite team? Most of the time, the first team they're going to name is the team from their native region, from where they are from, because that is where they feel connected to naturally. And by getting the import rule changed, TSM would surely Chime might be the only person that would stay. Even then, that would be very surprising, I think, because I believe most NA players would be out of jobs very quickly, just because of the way that the teams view it, not because of skill necessarily, but I believe just because of the way that teams view everything. And next thing you know, they're importing T1, who's now off to the finals, and paying them more than maybe T1 could pay them or something like that. And then you're like, ha ha ha, NA is going to win Worlds because, well, we just bought all of T1 off of T1. Like, that would just be so stupid. That would not be fun. I wouldn't enjoy that. I don't think a lot of you would enjoy that as well. I maybe am lying a little bit. Maybe I would enjoy a tiny bit of it, just the winning part. And then after that, I would be, once it happened, I'd be like, okay, well, what now? Last thing here. Dominic leaving. Listen, there's a lot of things that I like about Dominic, and I think that he has the right mindset to help TSM in the future. We're already seeing it in some other esports, and while we didn't get the Valorant spot, I don't believe that that's necessarily his fault. I think there were a lot of other extenuating circumstances, I'm sure, for why they did not pick TSM, but I believe that Dominic is the glue that holds this all together, and I believe that we need to have somebody like him in these roles for extended periods of time so that their plans can come to fruition, right? It's really hard to see things work, especially the best well laid out plans, if the person helming it doesn't stay in that position, the person with the vision, okay? And Dominic Leaving, I think, would be such a bad indicator for me as in terms of what TSM are doing next and just how unfortunate things would be. So, yeah, I would not really enjoy Dominic Leaving, and I don't think you guys would either. So, yeah, those are my 4 worst case scenarios for 2023. I think that there's definitely some other things that could happen, and you guys need to let me know in the comments section below. But this is our first episode of the week, so as the week goes on, we'll continue to have more content. Remember, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and for all the other videos that are going on in our coverage at Worlds, make sure you check out the videos that are listed below me. Other than that, I hope that you guys have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one.